features. So I'm in Olaya, which is one of the worst neighborhoods in Cartagena, Colombia today. If you want to know how bad this neighborhood is, let me just show you one of the primary features of this neighborhood. It's this canal, a canal that runs right down this street here, and it smells as good as it looks, believe me. We came to Olaya because this house behind me, right back there, belongs to a young lady and her children that we have been supporting for the last couple of years here in Cartagena. We met them back in 2021, I guess, when I came to Cartagena with Victor Marks because he wanted to see the trafficking problem firsthand. So we brought him here with his team. We took him downtown and we saw just how bad it really is. While we were down there, we ran into some young ladies who were kind of gathered around while we were talking to some prostitutes. And these young ladies, one of them was just a little girl, looked like, but she was carrying a baby. And I figured it was her mom's baby or something until she popped a boob out and started feeding the baby. And then I realized it was her baby. So we got to know those girls, and one of those girls was Wendy. And Wendy has 3 children. She's a Venezuelan refugee. She's been here in Cartagena for about 6 years. And for the last 2 years, through the help of Victor Marks and myself, we have been assisting her, helping her have a place to live, because she really didn't have any place to live before we met her. She was almost living on the street. And it's been a hard road. It's been a tough journey. She's been robbed and, had all kinds of things happen, but she's still here and we're still helping her. And so we came to check on her. And I just wanted to tell you a story about what happened. So I've been thinking that we needed to come here and visit her. She needed some help getting a better job, getting a better business. And I could have just done that over the phone, just arranged to send her some money and help her get what she needs. But instead, I felt very strongly I was supposed to come here and meet with her about this. And I didn't really know why. And I had a strong feeling that there was another reason why I was supposed to be here, but I didn't know what that was. And so I put out the word on social media just to see if anybody else wanted to come along with me. And lo and behold, we ended up with 10 people coming along with us. We had a total of 10 people in our team. And so we got here, and none of us really understood why we were supposed to be here. But we all had that same feeling that for some reason we were supposed to have come. And so we've been praying about that a lot. One of the other things I've been praying about is that Wendy, who's up there in her apartment right now, would be able to find Jesus, would be able to hear from God, that God would make himself real to her, would make himself unforgettable to her, and would just make it so that she couldn't look away. Been praying that for some time. And she didn't have a church she was going to. She was, going downtown and working, selling candies and begging on the streets, basically. But we just recently moved her to this apartment because she needed a bigger place and a better place than what she had before. And believe it or not, this is better than the place that she had found to live before. So even with this nice water here, water feature out her window, it's still a better place for her. And here's what we found. I've been praying that God would make himself real to Wendy and that she'd find a church to go to, but she really wasn't into it. She didn't really want to. Well, when I got here today, this little building right here is an evangelical church, and it's been here for 15 years. And the pastor of this church he's around there somewhere. The pastor of this church was just about to have to close it down. He was just about to close the church because He just wasn't, it just wasn't going well. He wasn't getting the support he needed, and he didn't think he could make it. And he said, I was just praying not long ago about, should I just close it down and walk away? And he just needed some encouragement. So we got here today. I saw the church. I went over there and I talked to his mother, and she called him. And she said, and he told me later that as soon as she called and said, hey, there's some Americans here that want to see if they can help the church, he said he just burst into tears, because that's exactly what he needed, was just somebody to come alongside him and help him. So this group of young, strapping young lads from the Alert Academy that came along with me, they decided, we all decided that maybe one thing we could do is we could just clean this church up and give it a fresh coat of paint. And so here they are, just finishing up a new paint job on this church in the stifling heat. It is so hot here, you just don't understand. There's no air conditioning, but it's just, the heat is just absolutely stifling. But these guys threw in with abandon to paint this church. My good friend from Panama, Eric Luis Delgado Moreno, came with us, and he's been doing a fantastic job at everything from driving to taking care of the girls, making sure everybody's safe, and helping out with translation and everything else. So I guess the bottom line is, we didn't know why we were coming here, but we were just going to be obedient and just come and see what God was going to do. We've had a tremendous amount of opposition on this trip. I don't know what else to call it, because it's just like everything has gone wrong. We've had problems with our hotel. We've had problems with the car. We've had problems with our flights. We just, like, somebody didn't want us to come on this trip. But I just felt like we really were supposed to be here. I didn't know why, but just came in faith that God would show us and that God would make it happen. And every time something went wrong, I would just think, this is another chapter in the story. This is another step that's going to get us to where we're supposed to be right at the right time. Maybe it's all just circumstance. Maybe it's all just happenstance. I don't know. But I choose to believe that God is in control. He's managing every facet of our day. And that no matter what happens to me, in life or in death, in sickness or in health, if I'm waking up, if I wake up this morning, well, God's got something for me to do, and I think He does for you too. So that's the moral of this story. Stay tuned, and I'll tell you more as we get more. We're going to do some really cool things with Wendy while we're here to try to move her on to the next level in life and help her become a helper and not a helpee. So stay tuned. We'll see you.